think I need to take a break. Hey there guys, hope you're hydrated. I, like some of you, enjoy a drink from time to time. Historically, it's been a lot of drinks, a lot of the time. But on this channel, we talk about building and maintaining better habits. And a huge part of that is making sure that our bad habits aren't working against us. This video is about drinking, or rather, the lack of. So pour yourself a tall glass of some high quality H2O, and I'll break it down. I think most people have had a roughly similar introduction to alcohol. You went to a party or a show, you were probably underage, and you had a drink. After all, everyone knows there's nothing cooler than doing something you're not supposed to do. And then you went to college. It was even more available and encouraged. And then you turned 21, you were able to buy it yourself and meet your friends at the bars. At this point, it's no longer taboo, and it just becomes another thing you do.
Fuck this, let's go do some crimes.
Western society really tries to drive home how cool drinking is.
More cars, more pussy, more vodka, drink, drink, drink! Please drink responsibly.
A straight up part of our culture, and maybe it shouldn't be. After all, drinking is bad for you. So why do people drink? Well, it's a de-stressor, it's a social lubricant, it causes the brain to release dopamine. It makes people feel good. Until it doesn't. Wow, Roman, too much of something could be a bad thing? What a revelation. But hear me out. Firstly, this isn't about to become a lecture about alcoholism. Alcoholism is a tragically common problem, and I am not an addiction specialist. As you could probably tell by the tone of this video, this is not an intervention. No, we're talking about bad habits getting in the way of progress, something I think most of us have experienced. So what is intermittent sobriety? It's a catchy term that I personally have trademarked that refers to taking a break from alcohol or other intoxicating substances. A tolerance break, if you will. Once or twice a year, you take a break for at least a month, and then you evaluate what you want to do from there based on how you feel. One of the reasons I like this approach is it's not that crazy of a commitment. 1 month is totally doable, and it comes with some awesome compounding benefits that I'll get into. We've established why society tells us drinking is good. Now let's talk about why it sucks.
You know what really sucks though?
What?
Everything.
For me, if nothing else, drinking can become a huge time commitment. If I'm meeting friends at the bar, having a Sunday fun day, or just going out for a nightcap after work, that pretty much means the productive part of my day is done, it's gone. And before you chime in, nobody is a productive drunk. That person does not exist. My producer will back me up on this. While I can't speak for anyone else, if I have any drinks earlier in the day and then sober up, I'm still only operating at maybe 70%. Drinking packs on the pounds, it really does. Let's use beer as a baseline for this. Light beer, on average, has between 4 and 5% ABV and 150 calories per 12 ounces, or 200 calories per pint. Let's say you don't drink during the week, but you'll kill a 6-pack over the weekend. That's 900 calories on beer alone. Now, that's not that much spread over an entire weekend, but it probably won't surprise you that that's not how most people drink. Studies vary on what the average American drinker actually consumes, but I could easily kill a 12-pack on the weekend. And it's not all going to be light beer either. It's a similar deal with wine and liquor. They may be technically lower in calories, but who actually drinks wine in 5-ounce increments, and who only drinks liquor in shot form? Nobody, not even you, Bradley. 2 words. Jaeger bombs.
Fucking Jaeger bombs. So
drinking can easily add 1,000 or 2,000 extra calories per week. And that's how dads got their signature look, dedication. It rips a hole in your pocket. The average drink at a bar is between $6 and $12 depending on where and what you drink. One trip to the bar can easily come out to $20 before tip. And fucking forget about it if you're buying rounds for friends or out on a date.
Forget about it!
That's almost $100 a month, even if you only go out for drinks once a week and only buy for yourself. I don't mind paying for an experience over a physical thing, but routinely spending what can easily balloon to more than $150 a month on an experience I'm already very familiar with, it becomes a little harder to justify. Bonus! This won't apply to everyone, but it does apply to me. Anxiety. This is something I take as a sign that I need a break. Even light drinking disrupts some things that help keep us running at our best, like our sleep cycle, our mental clarity, and our stress hormone levels. For me, this combo may bless me with a day full of anxiety comparable to somebody being hunted for sport. It's not going to feel that way for everyone, but it does feel like that for me. So when that happens, I take it as a sign. I need a break and need to get my shit back together again. All that's to say, drinking ain't good for you. And like most bad habits, the more you do it, the more you feel it. But the same is true for good habits. Let's talk about that. Okay, you've decided to take a break from drinking. Fuck yeah. So, what can you expect from this time off, and how do you get the most out of intermittent sobriety? The first time I tried taking a break, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. I can be a pretty anxious person, and drinking was one of the few ways that I was able to de-stress. I honestly didn't know if I was ready to be alone with my thoughts without something there to grease the wheels. But I did it, and I discovered a few things. I did have the anxieties I was expecting, but I was able to better organize my thoughts and talk myself through them. I was having lower anxiety in general, I was dropping weight, and I was also gaining things. I had more money, I had more time to do the things that I actually wanted to do, which brings us to our next part. The hardest part about quitting drinking is replacing that habit with something that's more beneficial. Most of us have a routine, and drinking has become a part of that. So what do we replace that time with, and how do we stick with it? With a plan and accountability, of course. Here's the thing, it doesn't really matter what you replace that time with. It really doesn't, as long as you can realistically stick to it. I decided to take the route of focusing on my eating habits and reading more. I wanted to get as many benefits out of this as I could, but my choices aren't going to be the right ones for everyone. I see intermittent sobriety as an opportunity to do those things that you may not have had time to do before. Knock out some of the books on your reading list. Spend more time outside. Pick up projects you've been meaning to do. Go film something. Or start something new. If you spend 1 month doing something that interests you, makes you happy, makes you healthier, you're gonna get something out of it. Something you might never have gotten if you didn't decide to take a break. Be honest and realistic with yourself when you're making your plan, because commitment is just one part of it. We need accountability.
Hold his fucking hand!
Fucking hold my hand.
Accountability is the best and worst part of any challenge we set for ourselves. There are stakes now, but there is also support and recognition. Tell your friends what you're doing. See if they want to get involved. Maybe it'll become a group challenge or a movie club or a biker gang. Friends are going to advocate for your best interest and support your growth. And if you don't want them to be involved, you have to be accountable to yourself. Keep a journal of your progress and be honest. Fuck-ups happen. It's not the end of the world. If it does happen, dust yourself off, pick yourself up, and get back on track. So when is the best time of year to give this a try? If you think this is going to be a real challenge for you, try February. It's the shortest month of the year. If you've got a little more willpower, jump into Sober October. There's a ton of people already doing it, and the support you'll have will be strong. Personally, I think November through January are the hardest months to jump in. There's usually an abundance of social obligations, and most people drop their New Year's resolutions within the first 30 days, and you don't want to be one of those people. The time of year won't be relevant to everyone, but with intermittent sobriety, it helps to keep these things in mind. The fucking misspelling. So bad. Okay, I did it, Roman. Now what? I mentioned earlier that I'm not an addiction expert and this is not an intervention. I want this to be a tool for creating and cultivating the best version of ourselves so that we can ultimately be our healthiest and happiest. I'm happiest when I can balance what's best for me with the occasional bad decision without derailing my progress, which is why I think entering back into the world of drinking requires a new relationship with alcohol. I mean, at its core, we've been talking about discipline, and there's nothing wrong with setting realistic and healthy boundaries on our relationship with alcohol. For example, if you're trying to hit your fitness goals, know your drink calories and stick to them. If you get out of pocket after 3 drinks, maybe 2 should be your hard limit. If you're stressed, maybe you opt out of drinking this time. You know what's right for you. While we're pretty much back to normal, the last few years have thrown us into unfamiliar territory, and we might still be trying to correct some of the habits we picked up. Think back on your month and what you got out of it. Keep working on yourself, your projects, and sure, why not celebrate occasionally? If you think you might have some issues with alcoholism or addiction in general, I've linked some avenues that could be of help to you below. Ultimately, you decided to take a break because of how you were feeling. Do what feels good for you, and if it stops feeling good, you can always take a break.